Garmin ecoRoute, something that used to be in models, and I'm going to show it here. I just did a video about calculating cost per mile, which in all honesty is better to use than ecoRoute, and I'll show you why. And before I get into that, the way to use cost per mile is that when you're navigating somewhere, now on this older model, this is a 2455. On newer ones, it would be on the right side, but it's on the left side here. You change this when navigating. Right now it's not navigating, but you can choose one as remaining distance. And then you can just estimate cost per mile. Just multiply the remaining distance by cost per mile. Again, go to my previous video and you can get that figure easily. But what if you wanted the Garmin to do it all for you? Well, on this one, this 2455, which would also include 2555, 2595 and models above, unfortunately, it's under apps, and they say, oh no, you got to go buy it. Now, if you actually try to go to this web address, it doesn't even exist anymore, but that's okay. I'll tell you exactly what happens. What would have happened is that you would have had to get a, I don't know if it was a one-time service or a subscription, and then you would get a thing to connect to your car's OBD2, meaning Onboard Diagnostics version 2, that has been in cars since 1996, some a little earlier. And it would show little things on the display, and one of them was the current fuel economy. It would read the information from the car's computer and send it to the Garmin, and you could estimate route fuel efficiency like that. Let me just turn this off. But they made you had to buy something to do it. However, with these two, this one you probably don't have. But if you got a bunch of Garmins, you might have one of these. You might. We'll start with this one. This is a 2250. And the ecoRoute in this one, which is under tools. Oh yeah, you can go right in. So if I set up a vehicle profile, I'll just reset it to show you what happens here. So you select your fuel. Select your city fuel economy, which for my car is 29. Your highway fuel economy, which for my car is 36. And then the price per gallon, which today, near where I live, was about $4.35. And done. Then you have a bunch of stuff you can do here. At the pump, it's a simple calculator. The Eco Challenge, let me just show that. See that little thing right there, that leaf? Now, what happens is that whether you are navigating or not, you always see it. The leaf color changes depending on what the Garmin thinks is good driving for good fuel economy, and you can tap it at any time. Now, it's not. This is not a speedometer. This is a score. It's a score. And it's not easy to get 100 with it. Actually, I don't even think it goes to 100. 99, I think, is the top score for it for most fuel-efficient driving. You can go in here and then hit the hamburger settings and then turn it off. And then once you start getting some data in here, you'll get the historical data, and then you can go back to tools and, yeah, continue driving for historical data, which you can reset here. And I believe that's it. It's very simple. Oh, I'm sorry, there's more. Yeah, mileage report. You got to drive for a little bit, go on a few trips before you get that information. And then a bunch of tips. Drive the speed limit. Drive at consistent speed. Brake and accelerate gradually. Avoid stop and go. More or less, it's telling you, don't drive. But in all honesty, it is better if you just set this field right here. Again, just set it to a distance remaining while navigating on a route, and then just multiply that figure by cost per mile, and then at least you know how much it costs. Okay, now this guy, the 265, makes another appearance. Now for this one in particular, okay, if you have a 255 or a 255W, meaning a wide model, meaning a 4.3 inch, or a 265 like this, or a 265W, and I think there's even the 275, I think, you get the ecoRoute, and this is obviously a very old model, but I can go to Tools, and then there's ecoRoute. This is a very early version of it, if not the first version of it. A little bit difficult to use. It's just because Garmin was kind of feeling it out at this point, like how should we do this? How should we present this information? It is kind of neat to see it, but so if you go to Fuel Report, you know, you get all your reports and stuff like that. Don't even ask me how they estimate the carbon footprint. I have no idea whatsoever. And you can calibrate. If you feel that your estimated fuel economy is accurate, or inaccurate, sorry, then you can adjust. Now what it did here, how did it get that number? Well, you go to your vehicle profile, and if I see, it's the same thing as what I did in the 2250. If I reset that, same thing, choose your fuel type. You can go anywhere from unleaded diesel, ethanol, LPG, or CNG, and then enter. It asks you for the cost first, so I'll go ahead and put that in. Your city fuel economy, and then your highway economy. Right. The number that it gets is the average between these two. That's how it gets the when you do the calibration. Oh, okay, now it changed it. I didn't even know what it did. It was 34.5. I don't even know what. Maybe I adjusted it before, but that is the number between the other two. That's the average. You can adjust the fuel price here at any time. You have the same driving challenge. If I start, see that? Same thing as before. It puts it on the right side on this one. And you can choose your overall score, and so if you hit stop, it disappears. And you have to go back to ecoRoute and start the challenge again. And then it comes back. Let me see if there's anything else I want to show in here. Yeah, they have the same tips, I think. Yeah, it's the same tips. More or less, it's the same data, just on the later model, it's presented in kind of a better way. This is a little bit clunky in operation. I will admit, though, it is kind of cool to see this while driving. So you can, it gives you a rough guesstimate solely based on math and speed of are you driving in a fuel efficient way or not? Should you use it? No. Why? Because ultimately, that's a distraction. That's why. You're going to constantly be looking at that number. I know I was. I remember back in the day, I had a 255W, and I had the Eco Challenge on right there. It's not that I almost got into an accident from a distraction. I just caught myself constantly looking at it. That's not safe. It's just not safe. It's fun, yes, but not safe. Furthermore, if you know your cost per mile, that's the more pertinent data for your actual, what you would want to know. So yeah, it's an early version. It's kind of neat. I understand why Garmin took it away. Do I miss it? Not. I mean, I have 2 units with it, but I don't. No, I don't miss it, honestly, because ultimately I stopped using it because it was a distraction. It's a cool thing to see and look at and reminisce and say, oh yeah, you remember back in 2008, 2010, we had this stuff. Oh wow, it's so cool. But yeah, safety-wise, yeah, you're better off not using this and just calculating your own cost per mile yourself. Again, go to the previous video if you want to figure out how to do that. Very easy. That's the safer way and the better way, because ultimately it's not really the mile per gallon you're concerned about as is how much am I spending. So it's the price that's more definitely more important. So yeah, again, ecoRoute, cool thing. Yeah, I don't miss it, but it's fun to look back.